Hello, recapping tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Symphony of War, the army management episode, where we might not make it to chapter 25. We'll see how long it takes. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'd like to go over my recently reorganized army, and probably do like an arena map, because, we haven't done one of those in a while on a recording. So, between the last episode and this episode, also today we're streaming, so if the live tubers show up, be nice. Basically just been a lot of army preps in between. I haven't done any arena matches yet, but I've definitely spent a lot of resources and done a lot of management. So the idea is to review and summarize, because I did a lot of stuff. So I've got 19 total squads. No number 20 just yet. An entire episode on the arena? Yeah, maybe. That's got a chance. We're starting with the Blueankylo squad, which is nice and symmetrical. Gun, sorceress, Zweihander, although she's not promoted yet. But yeah, we just got this capacity upgrade, so of course there's a lot more room to upgrade units. And I am goldifying units as I have extra proof of merits. I don't have any left, but we're giving them that, which, if you remember, gives them approximately 10% to all their stats. So they're just better. But yeah, so basically 2 guns, 2 sorceresses for stunning, crowd control, a healer, double, Templars with their double heals. A Pierce attack for polearm and anti... It's also a unique mercenary. Anti-cavalry, and then some nice AoE Zweihanders. Less focus fire. The gunners, now that they're fully teched up, get a double shot. These are really good piercing focus fire. But the sorceresses are more for stunning, hopefully, enemies, and then lots of AoE from the front row, as well as Ankylas's AoE. The other thing I've done is I've started applying traits. So I've tried to give some interesting ones. I gave Immortal Spirit here to the gunners. They are a little bit more likely to get sniped, and this will let them not die once. So we'll see if that ever applies. We'll see. And then Ankylas, I took possibly one of the best traits, although I'm still learning, but literally damage reduction in good terrain. I feel like as the leader squad, that's a pretty good one to put on her. And hey, you know what? Why not we put Treasure Hunter in and try to get more loot while we're at it? Speaking of which, now that I'm thinking about that, let's throw on another useful item that I don't have equipped right now, which is double drop rate. So we've got more drop rate when we kill stuff and random RNG dice, which will always roll poorly. And it's our first unit with over 100 capacity, so that's fun. Hey, Figo. Right, so that's that unit. I did give... Right, so... Immortal Spirit, Garrison, Treasure Hunter, Beacon, and Immortal Spirit. Beacon is whenever this person heals someone else, Beacon also gets a smaller heal. I think it's 25%. So this is just like making healing more area of effect than single target. And then one more revive for our primary healer. I put some extra healing. It's fine. For the front row, we went Overpower, which does strength-based morale. So if you've got higher strength than the enemy, you do more morale damage. It's not amazing, but hey, these units are pretty strong. They'd actually be better if they were on champions or like dragons, but whatever. This is my number 1 squad. I wanted to give out some feats. And then Dragon Slayer is just extra good at killing dragons. Here, why not? This is our hero squad. And then finally, we've got our unique mercenary who's got imposing, which means he gets targeted a bit more often. Which is good if the cavalry charge him, although not so good in other situations. But he does have more hit points because he's a unique mercenary. So he's a little bit more tanky anyway. And then Overpower is more morale damage because everyone's got morale damage. So that's my number 1 unit. Cool, right? Jules, he's all about bows and just shooting arrows at stuff. So that's what he does. This is probably one of the most boring units. It's good with indirect fire, but nothing else. In melee, it sucks. It can do ambushes, but it still sucks in direct combat, because unless you kill the enemy, they basically die. We have 1 unique mercenary here as well, and he's got Executioner, which is kind of cool. He's got an extra chance to shoot someone who's just barely alive at the end of combat. That's kind of fun. Other than that... Oh, I gave him Desert Warrior, because he probably should have that as his racial ability, but he doesn't start with it, so I gave it to him. Other than that, probably didn't give out too many traits because they do mostly indirect fire, so this is not the kind of unit that needs a ton of good traits. Although I will say for artifacts, Balmung is kind of a new one. This is like a legendary dark sword. It could go on any unit, but right now I'm a little bit tight on spare capacity, so for now I'm letting Jules use it. There's a different dark sword I might give him later. But the skill is nice, and the magic's mostly useless as long as the armor, but, you know, it's fine. True Shot Bow for even more skill, and Heartseeker is pretty awesome on Archer-only squads, because strength bonus does help a little bit, and the penalty is, well, not super bad. He's at like minus 100 hit points. So there's some risk, but ignoring enemy wall and wood defense seems like it might be worth it. Just be careful, these guys die real easy right now because of my gambling. We'll see. It might be a huge disaster. Next up, Sybil. Her artifacts aren't very good. You'll see this a lot right now. I had just enough capacity to get 9 units. So we have kind of bad artifacts. We still have some room to grow, basically. And this is my Flame Mage unit. Just recently changed around, only moved people around. Saw Squatchmill in chat, but there you go. You got a Fire Mage. You're the leader of the Fire Mage Brigade. You even got Executioner. So I think he's the only Fire Mage that has extra attack possibility. And at least one Stunning Mage, because she's stunning. And then basically this is Sybil. I figure she's kind of reckless and aggressive, so she gets the Fire Mages. That's kind of an interesting idea. And then a couple more of these Centurion style. I gave her extra healing because she's likely, well, because she's up front, I feel like she's likely to take a lot of damage. So there's that. This unit, again, nice and symmetrical, very fire themed, needs better artifacts, so okay. Oh, good old Barnabas. Yeah, he's still around. I didn't give him another trait because, I don't know, I forgot, probably. I don't know what else to give good old Barnabas. Give him something like takes less damage when he's almost dead, or better against dragons, or just extra healing. Let's give him extra healing when he... A couple different kinds of healing ones. Healing Attune means he gets healed more. We'll give him that one. The Tiara artifact? I forget exactly what that does, but I don't think I have it right now anyway. I'll show off all the artifacts we've got as we go through, basically, at least, or I'll try. So yeah, anyway, this is our heavy cav squad. I guess I have 2 heavy cavalry squads. You could definitely make them better by swapping out like 1 unit for light cav, because right now 2 dragoons, 2 light horsebow. You just need 1 more light cav and it'll turn into a light cavalry unit that's better, but I'm actually trying not to min-max like that. I'm trying to be more thematic. So a couple Valkyries for some healing and also physical, bunch of knights. And I'll probably go... I might go 3 dragoons and 1 archer, but we'll see. Strength-based magic? Oh, I kind of remember seeing something like that once, yeah. I was thinking of the tiara from Ogre Battle, where you promote one of your units into a princess and then everyone gets a second attack, or a +1 to their attack. Anyway, so this unit is more just about massive damage. Knights do big AoE hits. They're pretty awesome. Dragoons should be pretty impressive at their double shot. They do a lot of damage, and they're technically light cav. And then we've got a couple Valkyries with a little bit better magic defense and a little bit of healing. They're actually really good units, so that's Barnabas. Stefan, here's our first light infantry, and I have been really struggling all series long with light infantry here. Light infantry, the problem I have is, as much as they can do cool ambushes and they get better evasion and stuff, they're so frail that it's like dodge tanking. If you don't dodge, you're dead. And they dodge a couple times and then everyone dies and I get mad. So that's been happening a lot. We do have proper assassins, some of them are named, and I even gave them traits that make them better at criticals. So if you're... One of the perks, at least, for these light infantry units is they have generally high skill, which means more criticals. And more criticals, if you give them these traits, hey, ignore armor, do more damage. These guys' criticals should be deadly. We'll see. I just gave them the traits. We also have a unique mercenary in here. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it if this turns out to be awesome. Hey there, Nick. Glad to hear it. I tried to give bowmanship to any non-pure archer squad. The pure archer squads have an artifact that covers this, but the blended squads that have an archer in it, their archers, if I give them this trait, can also ignore penalties or defenses from walls and wood. So that's cool. And hey, more crit chance. If you could have three traits, you'd go Life Assault to get 15% more crit chance, and then you'd also throw on Ignore Armor and more crit damage. But I don't think anyone can take 3 traits. That's a little bit too much. So that was the idea with the archers. Stefan himself, I gave him the little bit more Ignore Armor crits. He does get a crazy amount of skill, so he should dodge and crit pretty regularly. We'll see. We'll see. There's a couple other traits that work based off of skill, but I feel like crits are the way to go for light infantry. And then we've got these samurai who are hybrid. They're technically heavy infantry, but they get the agility of a... well, they get more agility than other heavy infantry, let's just say that. Which is effectively skill. They also can shoot a bow at range 2, so we've got like 4 units that can shoot bows, basically. And they're good against cavalry, so it does keep them alive a bit better. I also give them some special traits like don't get criticaled yourself, and don't let Stefan die, because he's up front now, and he's not super tanky. So the samurai get targeted with imposing and then don't get crit. We'll see. It's an experiment. So far, I have not had great success with the light infantry. Stefan's unit dies a lot. Also, hey there, Grinding in Chicago and user 1789. Good name. And then artifacts-wise, a lot of people still have the capacity-reducing items and then just skill, basically, for now. Diana, yeah, she got big. This was a very recent update for her. She got super strong and tall. Custom, Nephilim class. I think the best thing for her is deal more morale damage based on your strength because, she's pretty strong. There's a couple other strength-based traits that would work, but that was fun. Anyway, she's overpowered as heck. She can probably win a lot of maps almost on her own, really. They're, like, the light infantry units are really good on offense when you set up a good ambush. But if you ever... But they also tend to have really low overall threat rating, although at this point it's getting pretty high. But they're typically the lowest threat rating nearby, and they tend to fall apart very quickly. So once the enemy attacks, these units tend to just crumble. And I prefer survivable units because I kind of play pretend permadeath. So the units that get wiped out annoy me, and the light infantry gets wiped out the most. Good old Ogre Battle. I do enjoy that one. But yeah, so Diana's great, and I changed her squad a lot. I decided that Diana is only allowed to have girls. As you can see, she is the leader of the paladins. She's humongous. The boys cannot join her squad. So she's got her own bonded healer, which is kind of cool for capacity. She's got a couple paladins on her flank. She's got her original sorceress friend, and then a bunch of new sorceresses, because I didn't want 5 paladins, as much as that would be thematic. Paladins aren't really amazing, and I didn't want 5 Templars. That's kind of weird. So a whole bunch of sorceresses. We'll see how that works, once they get promoted. To speed up the promoting, that's why I have this Treaties of War. Double class points from combat. So they'll level up pretty quick, and then we'll be able to equip better artifacts soon enough. I don't know if this is going to be great. Theoretically, that's an awful lot of stun, so enemy units might just get stun locked, and then we just stomp on them. So that should be fun. We'll see what happens. Abigail, our not everyone's favorite, but she's our dragon lover. She's also technically bonded now to Sybil, who's some here. Did I already go past her? Sybil, yeah, we already talked about Sybil. Technically, you could put Abigail in the same unit and they'd get some bonuses, but Diana or Namiri? Like Narima? Probably just spelling, right? Narima's pretty strong, but I think I think Diana would just squish her. You gotta give points to Nephilim. Nephilim is like demigod stats. Anyway, Abigail, she's got her original Nibbler over here, which makes the capacity bid. I have been trying to give dragons, if possible, this is the best dragon trait, is Arcane Might, but I didn't have a lot of scrolls for this. More strength based on magic is, well, really, really good. And then you go Dark Affinity, which boosts strength and magic even more, and then they just do a tremendous amount. This is legitimately possibly the strongest unit we have, and all it is 3 dragons with a couple healers. But red dragons are super strong, and I just did not have enough Arcane Might, so the dragon up front is kind of more our tank. Bodyguard actually helps a lot. That's 20% more damage. Also can't get crit. And then Sprinchkin, our other dark dragon, also has Arcane Might. So we've got 2 kind of ridiculously high AoE fire dragons, and then a slightly not as ridiculous, but still very strong tanky dragon. Also, did I mention this unit can ambush? So you can fly and also ambush. Is that fair? No. The best use for this item is definitely on flying dragon squads. I 100% guarantee that. That was one of my lessons I learned a little while ago. So, pretty strong. The double paladin isn't like the best upgrade, but Abigail is the better Sybil. Yeah, early on, she gets the free nibbler, but Sybil, she's got her own thing going. And I like Dragon Tamer Abigail anyway. I don't need them in the same squad, so they can split up. Okay, our second light infantry squad of 3 is the first one was all about assassins hitting the back row. This is all about rangers hitting the front row with a crossbow. They're not my favorite. This might actually have my vote for my least favorite unit in the game. I'd say assassins might be second worst. As far as like top tier units, like tier 3 units, I think rangers might be my least favorite, and then assassins second worst. Yeah, I mean, Diana and Nerima are both super buff for sure. But Diana as a Nephilim is even crazier now. But in the beginning of the game, it might be a good match if you had a cage fight. Lots of people would pay to watch, surely. We have another mercenary. I'm trying to show these guys off when I find them. I've bought a lot of mercenaries over the time, so here's another one. The Ranger Mercenary. I've also been trying to give critical hit stats to the Rangers, just like the Assassins, because, hey, they've got good skill. Good. Similarly, we've got Bowmanship and Lithe Assault on the Warbows, just like the other ones. A couple defensive... If I had more Warriors Hubris, I'd use this more often. This one gives... basically magic resistance if you have good strength, which is really nice on high armor units that are mostly weak to magic. So low magic stat means also low magic resistance, but Warrior's Hubris gives you some bonus resistance, which is actually, I think, a good deal for front row fighters, especially on Sentinels, the big shield guys. Anyway, nothing super crazy about this unit. Reskuja does have some real cool guaranteed ambushes at night, which is very, very useful. But once again, as a light infantry unit, it's a little bit tricky to get value. He might be better if you just threw him into a light cavalry squad with 4 or 5 light cav and just made him work like that. I find the light cavalry, we'll get to them in a bit, but I find them way better than light infantry. So that's what I'm seeing so far. Yeah, Rangers are cheap in resources, especially after the tech. Although at this point, I think it's kind of a moot. Yeah, once you've got the cost reduction in late game, they're equally free. So it doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, sorry, 1 obsidian once you're in the late game. Mercenaries don't count. But yeah, I mean, Rangers and Assassins, they're okay. I don't like them that much. Then we've got Lysander. This is my dedicated defensive unit. I even gave him my second and only garrison trait, which gives him even less damage when he's in a tower or something. He's got another, unique mercenary, Zatini the Undying, who is, well, pretty strong and pretty good resistances. And then we gave him, a couple more Sentinel Guards with Warrior's Hubris. I wanted to get these guys Warrior's Hubris first and foremost. Now, this unit is still a little bit weak to, like, arrows, magic, other people with cannons, because the gunners do a ton of damage, but they are, you know, they have no magic resistance and very low HP. So they're a little bit fragile, but the front row hopefully protects them. And I need to upgrade one more guy, but it's going to take a little while. Anyway, I gave them the most defensive artifacts I could think of, which is technically minus 50% damage from archery and guns. There are other ones that we could use, but for now, this is the way I wanted to do it, and we'll see how it works. I think with the 50% damage from guns and archers, and also bonus defense from terrain, I think this is pretty good as a defending unit. It might be better off with some of the other, like, there's so many artifacts, it's tricky to figure out what you should really do. But also in contention was taking, what was it called? There's a couple that I'm looking for. Just a sec. I got too much stuff. This one means your front row takes less damage, so that's pretty good. Your sentinels don't die very easily. And there's another one as well, like more damage on defense might work. Or just immune to criticals entirely. We've already got one artifact though, so I'm trying to spread them out a little bit. It's all good, Nick. It's all good. Right, so guns and defense, you know, guns are also really strong, so I didn't want to put them in every unit, so we have a gun-themed unit. Jeromir's is basically the same as Barnabas, mostly because, hey, it's a hero knight leader. I also didn't give him a second artifact, or a second trait, because I think I was really tired of giving out traits by this point. I actually could give him Knight Captain if I wanted to free up, like, 8 CP. It doesn't really matter, but it would give him up. It would free him up a bunch of space, so that might be a good idea. It doesn't matter. I don't want to do it right now. But, yeah, at this point I didn't have a lot of spare trait scrolls, so we couldn't do too much. But, yeah, these units are real strong anyway. Beatrix is basically the same as it always was. Her gimmick is, if she gets attacked, she attacks first. She basically hits everything for hopefully a lot of damage if it's a large squad. And then she gets another attack. And then if she's lucky, with Executioner, she gets another attack. So she can Meteor Swarm the enemy 3 times per round, which is pretty good. She also could get some, like, of these arcane skills, but I think Executioner is her best skill. So that's what I gave her. I could probably give her a different affinity. Lightning, we could probably switch to, like, water. She would do... Well, that lowers her skill quite a lot, oddly enough. But more magic turns into direct damage, although skill is, you know, criticals and stuff. But that's possibly smarter. I'm not going to change it right now, but something to think about. And I have given her sentinels bodyguard and stuff, so they're a bit stronger. This is a new unit that we just revamped. Last battle we got a hero swordmaster. And she has a unique trait, specifically. This one, Soul of Sayunya. I don't think this existed in the first version, like 1.0 of the game, so it's new to me, I'm pretty sure. So I wanted to show this off. And basically, she actually had more leadership than Nerima, the way my game went. And Nerima's leadership traits aren't that important. Desert Warrior, she's got already, and she has a unique one. So I decided to have Nerima not have her own squad, which is weird, I guess. And she actually is not loyal. She needs to drop her capacity down to 8 by experiencing some practice. But I think everything else she has works on its own. She just doesn't give Desert Warrior when she's a unit. But we should get basically first strike once per phase, like enemy phase, for all the Swordmasters plus Nerima. So that's a lot of damage. Alpha Strike. It's kind of like the Temporal Modulator, but not quite as strong. This is our other light infantry, the third one, and it's all focused on Swordmasters. They, you know, they're probably the most offensively oriented. They get double attacks, and they've got good skill and stuff as well. So I gave them the critical bonuses, just like the Assassins and the Rangers. Otherwise, a couple archers just to balance it out, and a sorceress to help, basically. Oh, look, I gave her arcane speed, so she's a skillful sorceress. I don't know if that'll help at all, but whatever. Light infantry, man. I'm gonna try. Okay, this is a pretty new squad. I'm still just getting it set up. Donar's Treaties of War is to level these guys up a little bit quicker. Oh yeah, there's some cool stuff here for sure. So these guys are gonna be my ice mages. I don't have any ice mages at all right now. So I should get a few, right? I think ice mages are the worst of the three, almost certainly. But we're gonna try a group, and I figured, hey, why not combo ice mages with silver dragons? Now, because it's dragons that fly, this unit is already incredibly strong. These mages could suck, and it won't matter. But Azeros is a legendary dragon king. I even gave him arcane speed. I didn't have the arcane might, but sure, he's super strong, almost 1,000 hit points. Don't worry about it. And these guys are great. These are actually the tankier style of dragons, so they tend to be a little bit more hit points and armor than the reds and blues. So good for them. Also, they inflict chill, which lowers the enemy's skill, so they don't get criticaled all that much, and I mean, that helps. They actually can't dodge, so low skill doesn't mean they avoid, but hey, they don't get crit as much. And yeah, any unit that has flying is super strong, so don't worry about them much, really. And I'm trying out this gain HP from kills thing that we take damage and then regenerate it. So this hasn't been like super effective, but it is nice on dragons to get more strength and magic. And hey, these guys get a bonus magic that'll help them a little bit. And I did give at least one of them Executioner so that we can do anyone that almost survives, or almost dies but just barely survives, there's a chance we wipe them out at the end anyway. Executioner is pretty awesome on your typical one attack per battle units. Okay, our only light cavalry squad. Like I said earlier, you could probably make a bunch of these and it would be technically more optimal, but I'm not trying to cheese it. Jay Steen, hey look, you're still around. I actually gave him the very rare counterattack scroll. This is another one of those rare leadership traits. It's just for defensive purposes. I don't know. Maybe I should have put it on like Lysandra or something, but I wanted him to focus on actually defending, not counterattacking. Other than that, I mean, I could put black belt on him. Maybe once he gets some more capacity and I don't need these capacity boosting items. These units, light cavalry, tend to be pretty dodgy. I find them more survivable than light infantry. Something about how hit and run works better than evasion in my mind, or something. I don't know why exactly, but these guys tend to live longer. And instead of giving them the crit-based stuff, I gave them disarm. So another skill-based light infantry, light cavalry style skill, but if you attack, the enemy can't counter back. And I figured, hey, someone's got to use those scrolls. I'll give a couple here. Other than that, Valkyries, as always. I don't have enough traits for everybody, but those that get traits, get traits. I actually don't have very many of these units. The Hussars are... I only made 3. I don't know why, I just only made 3. They're good. Nothing wrong with these guys, but I didn't make very many. There should be a mercenary Hussar somewhere. I just don't have them yet, I guess. I've probably been missing some of the mercenaries in there. I've been trying to turn them gold once I notice them so that you can pick out the mercenaries easier, but sometimes I just turn other people gold anyway. Don't worry about it too much, but yeah, like this guy is a unique mercenary, stuff like that. I'm not even using his trait, which is kind of weird. Anyway, we got to get through this update. We're almost through. So we had our fire squad. Now we got our lightning squad. This group is bonkers. Lightning mages have been very strong, and our new unit will be another champion. This is all champions. They do extra strength for the larger the unit that we start with, so they can go up to 27 more strength, so they can crack 100 if they fight a big squad. Another Dragon Slayer, because Alphonse, the mercenary hero, also starts with Dragon Slayer. So hey, I thought that was kind of thematic. This is another unique mercenary, technically, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And this is technically Soteraz's squad. It's just leadership and perks, so we wanted to let the matriarch run it. I believe he's actually been goldened already, so he does a little bit more damage than the other lightning mages. But yeah, this unit has been super strong. Maybe not quite dragon tier, but not too far off. Not too far off. Let's keep going. Awesome, guy. So this is my heavy infantry squad. We've got the soldier captain from Awesome Guy, who's got a gun, and also gets some free healing. And I actually tried to specifically give him every heavy infantry there is. So we have 2 centurions, technically, with the same one. But we have a sentinel, so lots of spears up front. This unit is really good against enemy assassins, because they have to hit heavy infantry no matter what. My fragile middle line is protected from front and back. The downside is all the sword and spear guys tend to attack the same target a bit. So there's piercing, there's AoEs, there's double attacks. It's pretty good. I can also technically shoot arrows at range 2 with my other unique mercenary who's not being used to his full potential. But I just wanted more. And the reason for that, I mean, not to get into the technical details in the tech tree, but mixed unit tactics. Each unit gets 3 weapon power for each different type of unit in the squad, starting with number 2. So +3 per unit. That's other than the first. So in theory, we're looking at, don't count him, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different units. Plus 21 weapon strength is still a pretty big increase, honestly. So that's why I have such a diverse set of heavy infantry. And we have 2 centurions for no specific reason. That's just how it worked out. I do suppose if we're being attacked from the front, we want to not die to cavalry. So that's kind of what we're thinking here. It could be a defensive unit as well. We could equip a bunch of defensive stuff. We've got, I guess technically this is light cavalry, but it's light indirect cavalry, kind of like duels. We don't really want to get into melee with this. I think there's another unique, Tariq the Wicked, another mercenary captain in here. And we've got another one of those ignore cover. I also threw on the Essence of Ember, because this is a pretty cool item. I've only got one of them, and it seems neat. Inflicts chill, I don't know. This might be good on one of my light infantries, because they really need to not get hit back, and lowering the enemy skill might be one of the ways to do that. So, you know, Ragiri, Narima, Raskuja, those kinds of units, this might be better on them. They don't have any capacity right now. So for now, we'll just put it here. For these guys, I don't think I used a lot of items. I think I was pretty low on... I mean, bowmanship doesn't even matter. That must have come with him automatically. But, yeah, you know, they're fine. We do indeed have a full 3x3 9 cannon squad. It took a long time. I've been talking about it all game, but we finally got one. And they're fast boys. They've got 8 movement because of the boots. It does give them lower morale, but I think it's worth it. And for now, they just get more hit rate. I don't know what artifacts actually work on cannons, because for the most part, I don't even know if they can miss. The hit rate might not even matter. But most of their stats mean nothing. Hit points helps, but nothing else really matters. I gave them Smite, because it's a bit hard to hit rogues and assassins, I guess. Another reason for rogues and assassins to be the worst unit, maybe, is there's actually a skill that specifically kills them. So, if we're shooting rogues or assassins or magicians, which is maybe what we really care about, they get smited, and that's pretty bad for them. I didn't put it on all the units, but I had a few smites, so I think we've got 3 smites here. Or at least a couple. These don't... Or actually, concentration's not bad either. Cannons, I don't even know if they can crit. I think they can. It might not be very high percentages. But I figure because they're so explosive AoE, just doing more damage might be more important. I don't care about crits, just average higher damage. 15%, that's decent, right? Any unit with low skill, I think this is a good item. Or a good trait. Yeah, okay, that's the booms. This is... Dragon Squad number 3, because, of course, we have 3 different colors of dragons, so now blue dragons. Best dragons. This unit is, of course, crazily overpowered. Actually, Warrior's Hubris isn't terrible on dragons. One of their weaknesses is not exactly magic damage, but their armor, and, they're not super tanky, let's just say. But, you know, they're pretty good. They got a lot of hit points, just not a lot of defense. So, you know, we got some interesting stuff, some smites. The guys up front got some... I don't think bodyguard works here. The captain must have been an old pick. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a lot of extra traits, but, you know, we got a bunch of Zweihanders. Seems like a pretty good unit to me. And that's it. That's the whole 19. Good. So that's your recap. I still have, you know, 1 more mercenary to put in a squad. And I think that's it for units. I almost want to make use of this random mercenary just to get Garrison, but I don't know. I probably won't find a good use for her, but Garrison is such a powerful trait. It actually might be worth, if you're playing along earlier on, you might want to build more than a single squad that's based around Garrison. If you're trying to survive Chapter 12, this will make a huge difference if you have a couple units with that. Maybe even Stefan in the forest, but especially someone on the walls, like someone like Jules. Maybe with a couple healers, of course. Anyway, we're not taking any of these supports because they're, you know, lovey-doveys, and I don't want any of these pairings specifically. I looked up some of the pairing guides. This is actually the canonical one for Sybil and Barnabas, apparently, but I'm just kind of seeing what's available. I'll pick one eventually. And I am going to do an arena. Yes. We'll do the first platinum arena we've ever done for the future tubers, I think. Technically, this burns like 8 bronze arena tokens, so it's really inefficient if you're trying to get rewards and stuff, but don't worry about that. At this point, I don't think it matters too much. So the Platinum Arena. It's the biggest one, I think, with the most units. I mean, they generally have a similar number of enemy units. Actually, the Desert one, the gold one, might have more. They always have a squad of 5 that chases you, a boss, and then some number of defenders at the beginning. But anyway, these units, as much as whatever the number of total squads are, these are the biggest units. The Platinum Arena always has the highest rank units. It's like, this is a pretty big squad, you know. Mostly archers. Reasonably well balanced with promoted units. This unit will be pretty dangerous. Swordmasters can output a lot of damage very quickly. And they got 2 of those. A bunch of mages, 2 lightning mages. It's a bit of danger, plus a sorceress. And a bunch of assassins. Nothing terribly crazy, but, you know, gotta be a little bit careful. So who do we want to showcase today? Well, I would really like to get Diana's sorceresses upgraded. Diana is also very large right now, so we'll start with her. Who else? I would like to get some of these Azuros mages upgraded if I can. And let's see. I will try to show off the Boom Squad because it's cool. But that's, we gotta be careful. We don't want to have too many of these non-direct combat units. Let's see, who else would be interesting to throw in for this fight? It's always really hard when you've only got a couple units. Lysander's is... I've actually been finding Lysander's is pretty bad, but we just got the gun upgrade, so let's try him out. And finally... I've already got 1 indirect fire. Do I get another? Let's see, someone who needs some promotions. Let's see. I mean, the Blueankylo needs 1. Technically, Tariq needs a promotion. I think we'll bring the Blueankylo. Why not? Blueankylo does give like a support bonus to nearby units, so there's some advantage, even if she doesn't fight too much. Alright, so, let's see here. The enemies are level 38. Our units are probably around that. Yeah. Around 38, that's good. Alright, we can turn on, you know, how far can the enemy shoot? Super far. They're promoted archers. They get range 4. So if we want to lure these guys over, we could lure... Okay, he can't quite get to there. Next turn, he'd be able to shoot all the way across. None of the enemies can fly. If we want to get S rank, we've got 11 turns, which is tons, really.
Break their resolve.
It's a bit risky, but we're going to do it. I think he's actually got like minus 50% arrow damage, so I don't think they're going to kill anything in 1 volley. And then we want... If this guy moves up, it might be worth having Azuros fly over there. So if I put him there... I think these guys do charge forward. Oh. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
For my people, for my homeland.
You can't shuffle when it's a dragon.
I must stay strong.
Good start, Blue. Good start.
Where am I needed?
Alright, well, we'll see what happens. If I lose all my mages on turn 1, I'm going to be sad, because I'm trying to level them up. On the plus side, we know he'll move over now. Oh, huh. Okay, this one I don't think will be too contentious. Yeah, I just healed right back up. No problem. And the slightly more contentious attack... That was pretty close. Definitely pretty close. 4 damage after the tick. It's brutal. Okay, but we can take the wall. The good news, at least, is we can get up there. Okay, you just gotta believe, right? They're gonna kill everything before my mage dies, right? That's how this works. It's looking pretty good. Not perfect, but we got that level up. I think he'll be okay now. We could still finish this guy off from the low ground, so we could do that. You know what?
A paladin.
You want to see something cool? Diana doesn't care about walls anymore. Well, he'll probably just surrender. No. There is no surrender. Oh, we didn't even get to see her attack. Sorry, guys. Alright, up here... We just need to kill Tarek.
The battle lies before me.
We'll let Lysandra try. Although I'm not super confident in his ability to win this, but we'll see. Well, by win I mean kill everything. Yeah. The guns are good, they just don't spread out their damage very well. It's very, very focus fired. Maybe he was a little bit low level too.
What's our next tactic?
No, they're good levels. So that's fine. We don't need to use Lysander for everything. We got the boomstick. It does make the game lag a little. So cannons on the walls are, you know, always gonna work out. I wonder if we should have this guy lured over by Bankylas. I think we should. The guy on the fort doesn't move automatically, but once someone is in range... Could have healed there, but didn't. Once someone's in range, he'll move over. I think. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen them take the swamp route on the south. Okay, thank you for not killing my sorcerer. Or my, not sorcerer. Sorcerer lad. My sword lad. Ah. Now, Garrison may be factoring in now. Because we do get the double defenses. Why are we... Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. We do seem to be on some kind of sky arena. It's a platinum token, so, you know. Ask the game developers. I don't know. Okay, so... These guys are kind of dumb. They can't actually, if I just fly off the wall. They really want to kill Azros for some reason. 31,000 threat, and they still target him specifically. I think we just have Azeros, like, fly down and kill Millie. Just fly off into space. Can't fly off into space. Hey there, David. Stick to being aggressive. It's always worked before. A little bit of ouch. Overall, pretty good. And we are getting some amount of passive healing from the stupid item that isn't very good. This blood shard thing. I don't know if this is a... I feel like the amount of healing you get from it is pretty tiny. I'm not really sold, but I'm still testing. Alright, these guys. Some of them can attack the wall with magic. These two are stuck on the wall, so they have to go all the way back to get down because they're dumb. This one can't attack up the wall either. So there's really only 2 units that can do anything.
Awaiting your orders.
I must stay strong.
You can do this first, and then I'm going to have the Blueankylo heal Lysandra, I think. Seeing as we have the advantage, we've got the high ground, Anakin. Cannons are great. Of course, you know, the Sentinels are pretty good against firearms, but if that's the only unit that survives, your unit's gone. Because you can't deal any damage. Not really.
Battle lies before me.
There we go. A little bit of heals. And I think Diana... This guy's probably going to just shoot my dragon for some reason. That guy will turn around. Let's just have Diana hold the choke point. Just guard the fort. Let them come a little bit closer, and then we'll kill them. We don't need to rush this map for the S rank. It's really easy. There's a ton of time. Alright, this makes another dragon bait for next turn. Sure. Get some stat ups. And I want to get those unpromoted units up to rank 3 soon. You've got to see Diana's attack. We keep killing everything before she can do her regular attack. If you haven't seen it before, you're in for a treat. Alright. Let's see if we can wipe this guy out from the wall. Flying is just really nice for these wall units. Nothing in here can survive Dragon Breath. As predicted. 5 HP. I wonder what percentage that is. Could we figure it out? When you kill a unit with that artifact. 5 out of 175? The dragons had a lot more, so they regenerated better, I suppose. If you keep track of the numbers and the max HP, you can probably figure out the math. Okay, we want Diana to get a kill. Multiple Davids in chat. We want... Honestly, the cannons... Well, we'll do this. Mages. If we don't kill the mages, we're in trouble, but... That's fine. Traits for targeting like Dragon Slayer? Oh, that'd be interesting. I don't usually check enemy squads out that closely. I don't think they get unique traits. It's not like Fire Emblem Conquest, where you have to check everybody. I think they get their class traits, but that's it. Yeah, because Paladins always get Magic Armor and Guardian. I mean, I haven't really checked in general. But I'm going to guess that they probably don't get the unique, or the special traits that I've been given out. Let's have... Diana doesn't want to kill paladins. Let's have Lysandra kill the paladins. He does not care about religion as much. They have magic resistance, but not gun resistance. Yeah, that wasn't that impressive anyway. Yeah. Team defense, not my favorite, but someone's got to make a sentinel squad, right?
The time to act.
Ankylas. Oh yeah, we haven't shown her attack yet either, I don't think. If you haven't been watching for a while, then you won't have seen the Ankylas attack, which is lightning from heaven. Loyalty. I still love that ding. Alright, and I'm pretty sure Diana will still kill this guy on her own. Technically, I do have all kinds of funky powers. If you haven't been keeping up with the series.
Where am I needed?
Just drop some meteors on these guys. Make it a little bit easier. They dodged a lot of those specials, but there's the stomp. Critical! Whew, big hit. Yeah, don't underestimate the swordmasters. But the excellent morale means a lot of free attacks, so... Good job, girls. All-girl squad.
A paladin never surrenders.
I mean, they need a lot of CP to get to the sorceress tier, but... At least we're getting some here. Let's see... What do we want to do with Ralph? I've got all these powers. Let's terrorize him. And then I could teleport and exemplar someone. I think what we want is the sooner we get these unpromoted units promoted, the better.
The army is ready.
I can technically use items for it, but it's kind of boring. We'll say Diana gets the prize of going faster. Give her a blessing, basically the same as the old Fire Emblem dance.
Donar be with us.
And I guess we can capture at least one unit. It doesn't matter as much anymore, but you do still get tech points, which give you, you know, the gold-making item.
Repent before.
Now, if I save the teleport for Anthony, I was thinking of teleporting him down so he could shoot. I just
Where am I needed?
changed my mind. Also, we found the speed-up button. In case you're wondering. Oh no, we want to go sort of around here so we can get some heals.
Ready.
Dang it. Good job, Blue. Ooh, good job, Blue.
For my people. For my homeland.
Those are like movement stars from Thracia. That's it's a 33% movement star thanks to that crazy artifact. Can't quite make it. How many turns have we got? Oh, lots of turns. We could do some
paladin
grinding.
never surrenders.
The most important kind of grinding. How are we doing? Do we actually get... You know, we're halfway to a sorceress with all them sorceresses.
I must stay strong.
What's our next tactic?
And the guns can stay back. Grind
Repent
o'clock.
before the righteous.
She's getting a lot of double attacks.
Where am I needed?
Looks like we're getting maybe a couple hundred CP per attack. It's not amazing, but it's something. Now, the Blueankylo doesn't actually have a ranged attack or
Battle
indirect.
lies before me.
So she can't do that.
The time to act is now.
Awaiting your orders.
Ready.
We'll do our last heal revive here. These guys are halfway to... We'll kill this guy next turn. We'll do one more grind with Diana without going too crazy here. And then we'll let probably Azeros go for the kill. And if you were worried, you're like, oh no, I think he'll die. Don't worry, half damage. There's no way he dies. I mean, it wasn't a serious concern, right? So that gives him, 2,000 out of 3,000. So, like, one more battle or arena could probably get the apprentices promoted. Same kind of thing, 2,000 to 3,000 there.
Break their resolve.
We didn't use Lysander as much, but yeah.
The army is ready.
I think trying to find if there's any units that need more loyalty. Technically, Zatini is only at 8 capacity. Oh no, that means he's loyal. Yeah, I see it there. It's just out of order. Is there anyone not loyal? Committed. So generally, if you really want to min-max, you have the squads that either need leadership on the leader or have units that are not yet loyal doing the capturing, because you get the most value. Looks like Idalia's not loyal, but it doesn't really matter because she's at 5 capacity instead. So I'll let my dragons do the capture. Technically, you also don't want Ankylas to capture because she gets leadership anyway, even if she doesn't. As long as she's on the map, she gets it for free. Well, it's progress to 1 more leadership point. Alright, we didn't do very much surrendering, but we still get lots of money, another proof of merit, and some stuff. As far as I can tell, the rank of the arena you complete mostly just affects gold and the number of codices. And because you can get 3 and the same amount of money in terms of fractional tokens, bronze is just way better than this. You get this. You might get like 1 less item in bronze, but 1 platinum token is 8 bronze battles. You'd get way more codices, about the same gold, maybe 1 or 2 less artifacts, but I don't think they're like, I'm not sure if the rarity of the token really applies very much. Maybe, but I'm pretty sure I've had like high quality artifact, like legendary artifact, whatever they're called, unique artifacts or whatever from bronze, I think, or at least similar stuff as this, basically. So anyway, that's your platinum arena. It's nothing too crazy. I'm trying not to spend a ton of time doing arena grinding, but you know, it's classic. Last thing is, I'm just gonna look at one last thing is before we finish up our feedback episode. Is there any artifacts that we have that I haven't got equipped that I should use? Technically, I've got a immune to crit, tons of armor, but -1 movement. -1 movement tends to be really bad in most of these kind of tactical games, unless you're on the defense map. So I'm really tempted not to use it, but immune to crit and tons of armor, you know, maybe I put it on Lysander? Maybe? It's okay. The Jade figurine is what's giving us that extra attack, extra turn, which is really good. I've talked about this in the episodes, but for the live chat, the Skull of Rodain is your ticket to infinite tech points. Basically, just equip it on your strongest unit. It makes them worse, but anything they kill surrenders, and every unit that surrenders is 1 tech and some gold. So if you're trying to unlock high-level technology or grind the proof of merits, just equip this and kill stuff. It's really easy. It breaks the tech economy in my mind. So I would suggest you don't, unless you're really struggling. I'm going to give this to one of the archers once they've got some spare capacity. I don't really see any other units this is good on. And it is pretty expensive. Anything else? Black belts, you know, purple artifacts. It's good on enemy phase. That's a lot of damage. But we tend to do most of our work on player phase because we control it. Enemy phase is a little bit random on who they attack still. I don't really understand the AI's attack logic perfectly. I have a basic idea, but I can't force them to attack the unit that has black belt, which might be good at counterattack. So usually this is kind of useless. Everlasting potions are okay. It's kind of like a healer. Not a good healer, just an okay healer. But this way you don't have to bring a Templar if you don't want. But on their own, it's just a little bit of healing. And then, of course, CP reductors are always good. Boots of Tyranny. If I had more of them, I'd probably use them, but they're dangerous. The movement points are great, especially on, like, cavalry. I just gave them my cannons because I want speedy cannon boys. But minus morale, at least minus starting morale. You can get more by killing things and friendship points. So units with a lot of bonds, like supports, this is probably less of a penalty. But you are doing less damage by having lower morale. So it's a bit of a trade-off. I actually think it's a really good item. I think you probably should use it all the time if you've got more. You know, defensive units. Obsidian armor, I'm not sure if this is a good trade-off. The minus 15 skill, it's hard to say exactly how effective that is. But the hit points and armor is great, but skill was bad. Minus skill seems pretty bad. I don't really like the trade-off weapons and armor very much. If it's plus a bunch, minus a bunch, it's hard to say if that's actually a net gain. Whereas something like this, which is just bonus dark resistance, HP, and magic, yeah, that's a good one, right? Similarly, most of the magic boosters have a penalty, like hit points, so I generally don't equip these very often. You want your units to not die. You'd like to do more magic damage on people like Beatrix, but then they have no armor, or no hit points, so that's kind of a... I wish there was at least a couple magic items, like magic boosting items that were just, well, more like this, I guess, where there's no negative penalty. There's only like one or two like that. I think these are great if you're fighting enemies with archers. Only archers, not guns or crossbows, but archers specifically, I think, bypass bonus defense. That's pretty awesome. We've got the capacity reduction bow, the ambushing Eskandar's Karambit. I think this is specifically great on dragons, because if you're light infantry or light cavalry, you get it automatically. So who else do you want it on? Regular infantry, regular cavalry? Well, they're okay. But you know who else can't ambush? Dragons. Ambushing dragons is great. Sin Credo is super strong if your leader is strong, but makes everyone else worse, so good on small units with one good leader. Essence of Embor is cool. Get it? And then, you know, there's a bunch of other stuff in here. We're getting kind of into the more common items at this point. I'm not going to talk about everything. I haven't really found anyone to use this. If you know you're on a map where you're defending walls, this is a huge bonus. It does have some penalties, and it's very situational, because if you're not on a wall, it doesn't help. And just you know, those items are good, but you have to spend more time doing inventory management at the beginning of the map once you know what map you're on. So, unequip it on no wall maps, re-equip it on wall maps. It's a bit more hassle than it's worth. Same thing with, like, ignore hazard tile damage. If there's hazard tiles, this is nice. If there's no hazard tiles, this is basically useless, except for fire damage, which is okay. Anyway, that's my recap. I think I've got most of the common items at this point. There's some that, you know, took a while to drop. I think I recognize most things. There's probably still a couple uniques that are missing, and maybe some of the purples. But, you know, we're getting close to the end of the game. We've seen most of the stuff, at least. So, with that, hopefully you enjoyed your army recap episode, future tubers. That was a bit of a long episode just covering all the changes. But that was the last big shuffle. I'm not going to do that again. For now, all we're going to change in the future is, as capacity opens up, I'll move some artifacts around as we free up skill or points. Like, I can give the item I wanted to have on Jules now, which was the Fang of Duros. Who gets Balmung? I don't know. I'll figure that out in between episodes. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time, future tubers.